It's Beer O'Clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we're going to be taking a look at two beers from Aldi. It's their Jubilee Ales beers. We got a Session Pale Ale and a Session IPA. 4.2% ABV for the Session Pale Ale and 4% ABV for the Session IPA. Brewed by the Great British Brewing Company for Aldi. These cans were £1.79 each. So I'm hoping for something pretty good. Before I open the cans, I'm going to do these two at the same time. I just want to show you the difference from Aldi. This is their take on the Jubilee. You know, corgis and flowers and British flags and whatnot. Nelson there on Trafalgar Square, Nelson, yeah, that sort of thing going on with the British flags there. 440ml cans. It reminds me, of course, Aldi are owned by a German supermarket. It reminds me of, you know, when you go to Europe, and Europeans, especially when you go to places like Italy or Germany, they're very different in terms of their styling. They kind of, it's weird, it's like ripped jeans, leather jackets. It's a different style of dress than what is accustomed to in the UK. And you can see that by this German-owned supermarket, by these cans. You take this beer from Marks & Spencer's that I reviewed yesterday. If you haven't seen the review, have a little look. This is Marks & Spencer's Platinum Jubilee Ale. British postage stamp. This looks much more like a Jubilee Ale, 660ml bottle, brewed by Algood's Brewery, who've been brewing beer for probably the best part of 150, 200 years, down in Cambridgeshire. That looks the part. That looks very British. Whereas these look very European. It's almost Eurotrash, isn't it? Remember Eurotrash, that British television programme from the 1990s? Anyway, let's get this 4% ABV Session IPA out. We'll open the pair of them, actually. So, the Vale of Glamorgan Brewery glass will be the Session IPA. There we go. 2-finger white head. And the Northern Ireland Belfast glass, Canberra Beer Festival, will be the Session Pale Ale. Once they're gone, beers in Aldi. They won't be appearing anymore. Whether this is... Now, I don't know. You'll have to comment in the comments box on this one. The Great British Brewing Company. Is that Williams Brothers Brewing Company? Is it Marston's? Who brews this beer for Aldi then? So here's a look at the two beers. Thankfully, there's a difference. Thankfully, the Session IPA is clear, lighter. They've used a lighter malt. And the Session Pale Ale is slightly darker. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy at the fact that they've used different malts in the beer. It would have been very easy, wouldn't it, to just produce the same beer, but you're allowed to... 0.5% is the flexibility that the British law gives you with brewing a beer. If you say 4% ABV, the beer could be 3.5 or 4.5. The fact you've hit 4% ABV and it's a 0.5 of an ABV in between, it's allowable. It's a bit of a given. So the fact, 4.2 and 4% ABV, they could have just brewed the same beer and just repackaged it in different packages. But I'm glad Aldi didn't do that. Thank you, Aldi. Good levels of carbonation rolling up the side of the glass. 1-finger white head on the Session IPA, just remind you. And of course, remind myself I'm bound to forget. Good levels of carbonation. Let's get the aroma. Oh, yeah, it's typical. So far on the nose. I'm not trying to be overly downbeat here, but it's got the aroma of Aldi craft beer. I thought the £1.70, £1.79 price point, I thought there's room for improvement with the beer here. But I know I've not tasted it yet, but it has that similar, quite earthy but lemony. Typical. The word typical Aldi craft beer comes to mind. Let's not overly judge on the aroma. Let's get into it then. Cheers, everybody. It's so lazy. It's so blimmin' lazy. So lazy. Oh my goodness me. Where do I begin? There's an astringent bitterness that just runs through, and it's still like, wow, it's like horrible astringent bitterness. Oh, rubbish. Oh, do you know, it's so lazy. You know, I'm really, the reason why I showed all of this on the front, it's so tacky, isn't it? They've even got tacky cans. Really, I mean, they've gone for the tackiest cans. It's almost as if they're poking. Aldi are literally, virtually poking me with a rod right now. It's like they're like, ha ha ha, we've ruined your day. It's just unbelievable how they can. I reviewed a pizza from Aldi just yesterday. Anduzo spicy pepperoni pizza, which was godly. This pizza was fantastic from Aldi. It was like amazing, a really amazing pizza. And I said then in the review, if only Aldi made really good craft beer, that I could enjoy a really good pizza from Aldi, which they do, and I could enjoy a really good craft beer from Aldi at the same time. Wouldn't that be great? Compared to their food offering, their craft beers, and I'm not talking about their German beers, because their German beers are terrific. I like the Pilsner. I like the 1079 lager they do. The Weiss beer, the Aldi Weiss beer is terrific as well. They make some really blooming good, solid Weiss beers, Pilsners, lagers. I drink them all day long. They're terrific. But when it comes to craft beer, it's like they were born yesterday. It was like they're still wet behind the head. Like, you know, it's beyond trying to comprehend. Again, going back to the Marks and Spencer's bottle, which I've just reviewed, it was tremendous. The beer quality was stupendous. It was amazing. I love the beer. A good, solid, traditional British premium ale. It was wonderful. This is just rubbish. It's just, you get this initial lemon flavour. You're not even picking up really good, tasty, biscuity, bready malts. It's just this drying. It makes all of your mouth dry, like a drying sensation. And then it's just a stringent bitterness for £1.79. So that not only Aldi have you like carried on making rubbish craft beer, but you put your prices up. you put your prices up at the same time. Right, let's try the Session Pale Ale then. I don't even... I just read the back of the label a little bit. They're on about a confident pale ale. What on earth is a confident pale ale? I don't know. I'm not going to overjudge because I've not even put this to my nose yet. Straw coloured beer. Not much lacing, aroma. No, this actually smells slightly better. Still got that kind of strange bitterness though. I wouldn't be surprised. I mentioned a couple of brewers who brewed this earlier. I'm not going to pin the badge. I'm not going to pin the tail on the donkey here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was the great big regional brewer now that seems to be taking over breweries all over the place. Jennings and Wychwood and Brains and Carlsberg have got involved. Let's not mention them, but I think it might be them that's brewing this beer. Let's taste it. It's just gas. Oh, if I just swore. If I apologise, it's just I've let one slip there. It's just rotten. Just rotten beer. I want to say to newcomers who are getting into craft beer, if you've by any chance gone into Aldi and you've thought, oh, I've heard about this craft beer and I want to get into craft beer and I'm going to start off cheap, and you bought a couple of these Platinum Jubilee ales, this is not craft beer. This is a million miles away from craft beer. This is lazy Aldi and lazy, super lazy regional breweries, which I got to be honest at this stage, I hope they go away. At this stage now, I hope that these regionals, not all of the regionals, there are some good regionals. Elgood's Brewery seem to be a really decent regional brewery that keep themselves to themselves down in Cambridgeshire here. But the big one, who are buying out Wychwood and Jennings and Braxbeer, one's fantastic breweries, and recently Brains, and they bought Wells and Youngs. I wish they'd go away. I wouldn't miss them in a flutter. I wouldn't miss them in a heartbeat. They've become your Tetleys. They've become your Bass. I tell you what, they're just another Bass now. They're just another Bass brewer who got so big that they just fell in on themselves. It all just went to crap at the end of the day. And that's what's happened with this regional brewery up in Burton-on-Trent. I wouldn't mind actually if the whole thing just fell apart. I know I'm passionate. I know my voice is breaking up now because it's not acceptable. I know there's jobs involved. I know there's people who rely on a wage and everything else, but it's just not bloody acceptable to produce beers like this. It really isn't. We're living in an online world where people get to go, do you know what? I got my say these days. Untapped. People rate these beers. I bet people rate these beers. I bet they rate them. I wouldn't even like to see the ratings on Untapped for these beers. They must be shocking. It's rubbish. Passionate because my voice is breaking up because I'm just passionate about it, and I just don't think that it needs to be like this. It doesn't. We shouldn't be going down this road again. You've seen what happened with Bass. You've seen what happened with Whitbread. You've seen what, all these big regions, they think they can keep on reducing the quality of their beer and getting away with it. But guess what, people? Look at history. Look at all of the big regional brewers that thought they had it all covered, who have gone bust or have been bought out and they no longer exist. I mean, for goodness sake, Whitbread make coffee and they sell you a hotel bed these days. I can't see that big company in Burton-on-Trent even existing in 10 years' time if they carry on producing trash like this. 1 out of 10 for the Session IPA, 1 out of 10 for the Session Pale Ale. It's terrible, astringent, bitter, awful example of craft beer. I hope you don't buy it. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.